Good evening and welcome to the CDR T1 Round 8. Takes us to the Autódromo José Carlos Pache at Interlagos, Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm Tom Kent in the country box and we are raring to go for the first part of qualifying. We'll be looking for the slowest 5 drivers at the end of the next 18 minutes. We've got a few reserves being called in for tonight, so we'll run through those shortly. And just to recap on what happened at Imola, it was Colin who took his second victory of the season. He'll be hoping to build on that tonight. Thankfully, he is in this evening, so we're hoping to get himself into championship contention in time for the second half of the campaign. 8 races to go after tonight, and it's a wet start to the qualifying session, just as it was last week at Imola in Q1. And both Williams reserve drivers are not in tonight. MDG and Red Dog are out. So that allows Dark Inferno and Ailhunt to fill in for them. Also at Red Bull, Lato is in place of Hamster. Irish Gary has been confirmed as a full-time driver already at Alpine. And Elite Hound is also in the Red Bull in place of Calvin, who is also not in this evening, so another race that Calvin's missing. So just looking at other reserves being called in, I think that's about it as far as I know. And so drivers are out on circuit. I wonder how many of them have decided to go for a wet setup and which have gone for a rather more dry setup for the race. It's going to be interesting to see which setup each driver has gone for what. But there is Scotty. He'll be very happy to be back on the podium for the first time since he clinched the championship last season. Third place he got at Imola. So as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Joftis has an 11-point lead over Rabico. The championship gap was cut down last week. Joftis had a mediocre time at Imola. He's already won 3 races so far this season. He'll be hoping to get back on track here this evening. And Scotty appears to have gone off the track. And we'll go to Noodles. He'll be starting a lap right now in the Mercedes. Let's see how he gets on here. I think Joftis may have been starting a lap just before him, so we'll go to him as he takes us on a tour of this Interlagos racetrack as he comes down the Retro Posta and into the left-hander of Decida de Largo. Gets caught out by the curve though, so that won't help the Ferrari one bit. He's heading up the hill through Ferradura. A double right-hander that is, and now this is the S's of turn 8, and then Pinjarino, turn 9, and then the next braking zone is Bica de Pato, and then the left-hander of Magulio back down the hill, and he approaches the last braking point in the circuit of Junção, and then there are 3 more kinks he would need to get through before crossover line, and it appears that Jay Hartnell has crashed out on circuit, unfortunately, so that's his qualifying session over before it's even started for him. He dropped us over the line for Ferrari with a 1:17.5. He knows he can go a lot quicker than that, so he's leaving himself with a lot of work to do from there. It's a short racetrack here, so there'll be plenty of chances for the drivers to improve their lap time. Scotty goes second at 1:17.9, 4/10 slower than what Joftis had posted. Noodles next, goes third with 1 minute 30.6. That's an unrepresentative lap time, so he'll be looking to improve on that one. Harry won't be going any quicker, so we'll come away from him. Bruges is starting a flying lap. And the next one over the line will be Elite Hound, who would normally be in Tier 3. He's been called in as a last-minute replacement for this evening. Albi goes top with 1:16.6 in the Alfa Romeo. Big Boy temporarily went second before Colin displaced him. He's gone to P2. Gary up to third place in the Alpine with a 1:16.8. And Teddy over the line, 8th fastest at the main, 1:19.6. 3 seconds off the pace. And we'll go to Droftis in the Ferrari, who is about to cross over the line, and this should put him fastest of all with a 1:16.0, over half a second quicker than what Albi had posted. Dan, his teammate at Ferrari, has crossed over the line to begin a lap. And there's Colin. He's going for another time lap. Needles is next. Oh, well, we thought it was going to cross the end of the line, but he's come back into the pit lane. Probably to put another set of intermediates on. I don't know how long the rain is going to stay there for, so it could make for an interesting end to Q1 should the track dry up. There's Avon, who is competing for the first time this season in Tier 1. 58.7 by Sector 2. Colin goes second with a 1:16.2, so just over a tenth away from Droftis at the present moment. We've got Teddy over the line next. He's gone third fastest. Alan goes seventh fastest with 1:16.8. Dark Inferno able to displace him. Goes up to fifth with 1:16.7. And then we've got a Haas next over the line, which will be Jaihu. And Dark Inferno caught the curve there, but survived, unlike Jay Hartnell did earlier. So Droftis not able to improve on this occasion, narrowly just missing out on an improvement. Those Bruges had a lacklustre time in the last week. It was quite a setback for him. He's only finished in the top 9, no higher than 9th in the last 5 races as Bruges, so he needs a strong race this evening. And I have to say, the battle for third in the Drivers' Championship is very much intensifying. Bruges, of course, one of those in there, goes 6th fastest with a 1:16.7. Then we've got the Aston Martin of Harry, I believe, has invalidated that time, so he won't be going any quicker. Big Boy next over the line, doesn't improve. Got the Red Bull of Lato going 5th fastest. His teammate Elite Hound is 14th on a 1:18.3. Martin and Rabico have yet to come out of the pits. And Alan improving to 6th fastest. Dark Inferno not improving. And Jaihu crossing over the line to clock his first lap time. 1:16.6 puts him in 5th place. So that pushes Weatherman Harry into the jot zone. And that is Teddy, who's just gone for a spin. Just got to be careful not to hold up any of the other drivers. It appears that the rain has stopped. So it's not going to be long before dry tyres are going to be fitted on these cars. And Harry has exceeded track limits, unfortunately, so he won't be going any quicker. Neither will Elite Hound. And Big Boy making his way up the hill with 10 minutes to go. Now, track evolution is going to be key here at Interlagos. 1:16.5 for Big Boy, goes 4th fastest. Able to find some time on that lap. And Colin into the pits. Noodles starting another lap. That latest lap of his was invalidated for track limits. And that's done there. I don't think he's on a fast lap. And I would say the drivers may as well come back into the pit lane and get a set of slicks on. So Lotto currently in P7. 10th place finish last week at Imola on his debut. Did a fine job. We'll be hoping for a full-time seat in the near future. And Droftis is out of qualifying. He's crashed. So Droftis, the championship leader, has had an accident on the exit of Decido de Largo. We're right on board with Scotty. And yes, Joftis, oh, that's a very big impact there. That's a side impact he's had. So, Joftis, the fastest man of all, is not going to be going through into Q2. So he's going to be starting at the back of the grid. And with the track improving, it's likely he'll fall into the bottom 5 anyway. So there's a bad error there for Joftis, and that will give Rabico an opportunity to really close in. He's yet to get a lap time on the board. And as you can see, the DRS has now been enabled. And a couple of drivers are about to switch onto the slicks as they make their way back out on track. I just wonder if Colin or Teddy are heading out on the circuit. It doesn't appear that they are. You can see Noodles just wants to get a better lap time. And then you see Rabico has come out on the intermediates. I think he just wants to make sure that he has got a lap on the board. He's on his out lap at the moment. He won't want to wait too long before he goes onto the slicks. You can see Noodles, I think potentially he's going to post a high 1 minute 16. Here he comes then, Noodles over the line, and it is a 1:16.9, goes 12th fastest. So Rabico starting a lap now. The drivers on slicks on circuit are Teddy. He's the only one on slicks. Now you don't want to be going too quick too soon on circuit. I think a lot of the drivers are just thinking about when to head back out on circuit before we wait until the last 3 minutes, I would say, before they choose to do that. You can tell you that Martin has not been out on circuit at all. So Rabico coming out of Bica de Pato. Coming through Magulio. It's a 59.3 by sector 2. And it looks like a car that is set up for dry conditions, quite frankly. I think Rabico just wants to get a banker lap in anyhow. You can see the rear wing is open, so I'll give him an extra straight line speed. 1:17.6, only good enough for 17 fastest, so Rabico may as well get himself back into the pit lane. So a set of the slicks on, and Teddy is on a flying lap on the slicks. I think he must have made a mistake somewhere, otherwise he'd be going a lot faster than he is doing. I think he may be just doing a prep lap, just to wait until the track conditions improve a little bit more before he starts his flying lap. There's an Alfa Romeo ahead of him, that will be Albi, who's out on the set of slicks as well. So Teddy, currently in P2. Well, it says he's P2, technically P3, because Joftis, when a driver crashes out on circuit, they drop to the threshold of the drop zone, because they've crashed out of qualifying on circuit. So Lotto seems to have a fan on his side this evening, which is good. As Teddy comes over the line, does not improve his lap time. This is going to be his flying lap now. So the drivers in the bottom 5 are Harry, Rabico, Elite Hound, Jay Hartnell and Martin. But the lap times are going to be coming in thick and fast now, with everyone on the slicks. So Teddy will obviously need to get a lap in here before everyone else clocks in their lap times on the slicks. So Teddy coming through Magulio into sector 2, 5.5 seconds up from before. And I just wonder how much faster is this going to be in comparison to all the others when they complete their fast laps. In fact, he's coming back into the pit lane, so Teddy not very happy with the car's performance. Albie goes top with 1 minute 9.5, but as I've already mentioned, those lap times are going to come down by the second. There's Martin, who has not posted a lap time at all yet in this session. So 59.3 he's posted. I think a lot of the drivers are going to be waiting until the track conditions do improve. They don't want to be setting the lap time too soon. Their fastest lap too soon, otherwise will leave themselves vulnerable to being knocked out. Remember, it's the bottom 5 that we need at the end of Q1. Martin moves up to P7. The lap times, as I've already mentioned, will get quicker and quicker and quicker. There's Sinix heading over the line for AlphaTauri. And this lap time is good enough to move in second, although over a second off the pace of Albie. Ground to make on. Dark Inferno goes fastest with 1 minute 8.6. And the next one over the line will be Albie, who improves to a 1 minute 8.5. And he goes top by nearly a 10.5. Bruges next to displace him. And we've got McLaren next over the line. That'll be Dom Rabico to start a flying lap. So the next one over the line will be Colin to start his flyer. We've seen a few more times coming in now. There's Dan going second with 1 minute 8.3. That should see him through into Q2. We've got a Red Bull next starting a lap. That is Elite Hound. And Scotty now goes 6th with 1 minute 9.2. I don't think he'll be too pleased with that one, if I'm honest with you. I think he's going to need to go again. And there's Jai Hu behind Sinix, who should get a bit of a tow from him as they both come through. So Jai Hu behind Sinix. 1 minute 8.0 goes fastest. That was a good lap time there from Jai Hu. And Rabico coming through in the McLaren as Albie stays out of the way. Rear wing open on Rabico's car for a 1 minute 7.9. Goes top with that one. Very, very nicely done. And now we can see Elite Hound coming through in the Red Bull. 7 seconds up as Colin topples Rabico's lap time to go fastest with a 1 minute 7.6. Now, can Elite Hound book a place in Q2 with the lap he's about to put in? He's got one more shot of it if he wants to go for another one. It's a 1 minute 9.4, only good enough for 11. There's Teddy on the fast lap. Lasso coming through in the Red Bull. He needs this one, does Lasso. He's currently 14th. Technically 15th, but once he goes past Droftus, he'll be up the order. And now he's up to 4th place. And it looks like the Haas of Big Boy went second with 1 minute 7.8. So Harry's on the lap. Noodles needs to get a lap time on the board as Aylan goes fastest. Noodles crosses over the line for 1 minute 8.0. And he goes 7th fastest with that one. Oh, and he's hit the barrier. Why has he done that? Why has Noodles just crashed out deliberately like that? Why? That is a very bizarre incident, and I would imagine the stewards will be having a word with him after that. And there's Elite Hound, who is coming through. And he goes 14th with a 1 minute 8.6. So Martin under pressure, and I don't think he's even on a fast lap. So Martin is going to fall at the first hurdle, and so will Sinix. Harry is also not on a fast lap. He's exceeded track limit somewhere. So we lose 6 drivers at the end of the session. They are Noodles because he's crashed out on circuit. Martin also out along with Sinix. Droftus will start 18th on the grid. Weatherman Harry will be 19th, and Hartnell, not bagging a lap time on the board, will start at the back. So that concludes Q1. As Dark Inferno makes his way back into the pit lane. And from what I've been told, that the car of Noodles was controlled by the AI after the session was finished and just crushed him straight into the wall. Very, very bizarre if that's the case. So Bruges is fastest at the end of Q1. As I've already mentioned, we lose 6 drivers because of Noodles' premature exit. And so we await for the classification to come up, and then we'll move on to Q2 very, very soon. So Q1 ends with Bruges fastest, but Noodles is out, and we'll start 15th on the grid as Martin joins him. Sainz likewise dropped us, the championship leader. That's a big error that he's made there on the exit of turn number 5. So he'll be out along with Harry and Jay Hartnell. We'll be back for Q2 very shortly. Here we go then for Q2, and drivers will be thinking about what tyre compound to do their first runs on, whether it be the mediums or the softs. Well, Lato's giving the mediums a go, good on him. So Lato heads out on track. Wonder how many of the others will join him. And looks like we've got a Williams out on circuit also. That will be Dark Inferno, and Albi on circuit in the Alfa Romeo. Dark Inferno on the softs, Albi on the mediums. And then, as far as the fight for third place in the Drivers' Championship is concerned, from Martin in third to Calvin in 7th, separated by 5 points. You get 25 points for a race win in the CDR, 20 for second, 16 for third, 13 for fourth, 11 for fifth, and then it's 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down to 15th place, you get 1 point, and there's a point also on offer for the driver who sets the fastest lap. But they must finish inside the top 10 in order to get that point. And as far as the calendar is concerned, after Brazil, we head to Canada, and then Austin on the 11th, and then France on the 18th, and then Abu Dhabi to round off the month of February. And then we go to our final quadruplet of races beginning in Baku on the 4th of March, Barcelona in Spain, Bahrain on the 18th, and then the final round of the season will be in Suzuka, Japan. And it should be an entertaining finale for sure. And I'd like to think that the championship will go down to the wire. It's likely to be between 2 drivers going into it, but who knows what can happen between now and a couple of months' time. Here's Latte then, in the Red Bull on the medium compound. DRS open, and heading over the line, and it's going to be a 1 minute 8.4, so he'll probably want to try again and see if he can improve on that later on. There is Albi coming through in the Alfa Romeo. Dark Inferno is going to cross over the line on the softs, and he's gone top with a 1 minute 7.7. Here's Albi. Can he beat Lato's lap time? The answer is yes, 1 minute 8.2. A couple of tenths faster than what the Red Bull had produced. Who else is on a fast lap? Well, Rabico's just started one. Elite Hound and Big Boy are on fast laps. Elite Hound on the soft compounds as he makes his way through. Magulio, 52.3 by this stage of the lap. Now, Elite Hound competed in Tier 1 last season, but it was well off the pace in comparison to the others, so he's improved this time, but it's only a 1 minute 9.0 on this occasion for him, so it's definitely got a lot of time to find from that. And Big Boy goes 5th with 1:23.2, so he's made a mistake somewhere. Here's Rabico. He's coming up towards an Alfa Romeo on circuit. That will be Albi, because Martin is already out of qualifying. So 51.4 for Rabico by this stage. So he's aiming for a place in Q3 by qualifying or starting the race on the medium compounds. So heading over the line now is Rabico, 1 minute 8.0, so he goes fastest of all the medium compound runners. There's Bruges on the softs. It's a 1 minute 7.5, and he goes to the top. Scotty next on the mediums, 1 minute 8.8, and it's a rather slow lap time by his standards on the mediums, so he'll need to go again as well. Teddy is next as he goes through Bica de Pato. .6. So Teddy's doing some brilliant lap times as we speak. He nearly dropped it on the exit of Youngkow. That could have ended in tears for him, but luckily he's gathered it all up and kept going. Takes the shortest route to the line possible. It's a 1 minute 8.3, goes 5th. So he lost a little bit of time on the exit of Youngkow. So he may decide to give it another go. Rabico won't be on this occasion. Just looking to see who else is on the fast lap. Well, Jaihu is not on a fast lap, so he won't be going fast anytime soon. Teddy's exceeded chart limits. Albi's not on a lap. So I would think the next driver going to be starting a flying lap is... Oh, that's Albi going off the racetrack there. I think he did it to stay out of the way. He's just got to be careful that the game doesn't disqualify Albi. Scotty starts another lap now in the AlphaTauri. Looking to get through into Q3. We'll lose the slowest 4 drivers at the end of this session. It's a 16.9 by Sector 1, so Scotty is already a 10.5 up from before. He needs to find more than that. There's an Alpine going through turn 8. Scotty should be alright in terms of traffic. And as he heads through turn 9. Up the gears, just staying inside the track limits there. That was very nearly a lap invalidation. And he should be in the 51s by Sector 2. Yes, so he's 3.5 tenths up from before. So this is a considerably better lap from Scotty. But even this may not move him up the order. And Bruges goes fastest again with 1 minute 7.3 on the softs. Scotty over the line into 1 minute 8.5 and stays 8th quickest. Jaihu is next. He was faster than Scotty by Sector 2. And he just goes behind him actually. 9th fastest for him. Dan on the soft compounds. Goes up to second with 1 minute 7.5. And we've got Gary next up on the mediums. Alan on mediums as well, as is Colin. So we'll get to see how they get on these laps. Gary over the line. 1 minute 8.2 goes 5th. Next is Alan in the Williams. Goes up to 5th fastest with a 1 minute 8.0. Colin 6th on a 1 minute 8.1. So the drivers in the bottom 4 are Lotto, Scotty, Jaihu and Big Boy. And Big Boy's just started a flying lap now. He's on the soft compound, remember. Jaihu coming through Sector 2. He's up by a 10th from before. Is he finding enough time here, is Jaihu, to get himself out of the bottom 4? He needs to find 2 tenths on this lap And so far, I think he's found only something like a 10th and a half. Let's see how he does over the line. He gets himself over the bottom 4, displaces Elite Hound, and goes up to 10th place. There is Big Boy in the Haas, who's looking to improve. I wonder if Colin is on a fast lap. He is. He's coming out of Young Cow with less than 6.5 minutes to go. Currently 6th. Is this lap time good enough to move him up the order? He's low on his ERS, so this may not move him up. It does move him up, goes 4th with 1 minute 7.9. So he boosts his chances by being the fastest of all those on the medium compounds. But is that enough for him to get through on the mediums, I wonder? We'll have to wait and see. Big Boy over the line, goes 3rd. 1 minute 7.6. Matto is next up in the Red Bull on the soft compound this time. 1 minute 7.5, good enough to move him up to 3rd place. So Jaihu down to 12th. Not on a fast lap. Colin not on a fast lap either, so I doubt he's going to be improving on this occasion. Dark Inferno currently 5th. Will ideally need to be looking for a better lap time than what he's already got at the moment. So Teddy making his way through sector 1 on the mediums. How is he doing here? He's nearly 700s up from before. So far so good from Teddy. Can he get himself out of the bottom 4 with this lap and actually be in the realms of where Colin and Rabico are? So Scotty currently 14th on a 1 minute 8.5, so I think he's back out on a set of softs. Is the AlphaTauri pilot. So Teddy coming through sector 2 right now, and he's a 10th up, so he's potentially going to get out of the bottom 4 with this lap. This may only move him up as far as 9th, which is where Gary is. Be close to Alan and Rabico. Let's see how he does here. It's a 1 minute 8.1, only good enough for 9th fastest, so Teddy goes up to 9th. Dark Inferno, who's next, is invalidated his lap because he's exceeded track limits. Next man over the line will be Scotty. So let's see how he does. In fact, he's coming back into the pit lane, is Scotty. He must have made a mistake somewhere. So the next man to start a flying lap will be Rabico, who is out on track as we speak. Teddy's not on a fast lap, so we may as well come away from him. I think Rabico knows that his 1 minute 8.0 is not going to be quick enough to get him through on the medium, so he's reluctant to get through on the softs. So the top 5 have set their fastest times on the softs as we speak. So Rabico with the DRS open as he approaches the first sector. He's a 10th up from before. There is a Red Bull in front of him. That is Elite Hound, who should stay out of the way. Rabico will be approaching it very, very shortly. 3 minutes to go. There's plenty of time for things to change. Oh, Rabico's exceeded track limits. Turned in too early there into turn number 8, and so he'll have to go again as Dark Inferno makes the ride up through Ferragura and heading towards turn number 8, which is where Rabico had his lap time invalidated. Dark Inferno stays within track limits. Approaching turn 10, otherwise known as Bica de Pato. Through Magulio he comes. 50.7. He's 4 tenths up from before. So Dark Inferno very much on course for a low 1 minute 7 to pretty much book his place in Q3. Rear wing open. Inferno over the line, and he will go to the top with a 1 minute 7.2. And is anyone going to be able to beat that? Well, Elite Hound is not going to be beaten that anytime soon. Jaihu has started another lap in the Haas. He's on the soft compound. Rabico will just want to make sure he does not exceed the track limits this time. He's currently P7. I'm on a 1 minute 8.0, but I doubt that is going to be enough for him to get through on the mediums as we speak. Six tenths up by sector 2. Big Boy has retired in the pits, so he doesn't feel he needs to go back out again. Rabico coming through in the McLaren for a 1 minute 7.4, good enough to put in third. How are the others getting on? Well, Elite Hound's on a fast lap, Scott is on a fast lap, Jaihu is on a fast lap. They thought we'll go to Jaihu next. Now the man at risk is Gary on a 1 minute 8.2. Jaihu is on the brink of eclipsing that. And he goes 7th on a 1 minute 7.6. So he's actually slow. Apart from Elite Hound, he's the slowest of all those on the softs. Albie next over the line. I think he might have not. He didn't improve on that effort. He's out on the set of mediums again. So, and I think Albie's exceeded track limits as well. So Albie is out of qualifying. He's not going to improve. His session is over. And it doesn't look like Elite Hound is going to improve either. Aylan goes top with a 1 minute 7.2. Gary on circuit again. Teddy improving by sector 2. And he heads over the line. The checker flag is out now, so anyone on a fast lap can complete it. Does Teddy get out of the drop zone? Yes, he does. Third fastest for him. Scotty is pushed into the drop zone, so time is against him to improve. Elite Hound has started his last effort. There's Gary and Colin now coming through sector 2 on the mediums. He probably feels it's not going to be quick enough for him to get through on that. So the softs it'll have to be. Rabico retires in the pits, that's not a problem. So Colin over the line, goes fastest with a 1 minute 6.9. That's a great effort from him. Gary in 12th. Can he get himself out of the bottom 5? Or the bottom 4, I should say. The answer is no. He is out of qualifying, as is Scotty. Elite Hound has not improved. He's gone through the marker boards there towards Young Cow, and he's also not going any further in qualifying. So the bottom 4 knocked out at the end of Q2 are Gary, Scotty, Albie and Elite Hound. And that is setting things up for an interesting Q3 session. All of the top 10 advancing on the soft compounds. So the 4 drivers we lose, you can see in red are Gary, Scotty, Albie and Elite Hounds. The top 10 go through to Q3 to battle out for pole. Who will it be lining up at the front of the grid? Find out very, very soon. Ten drivers remaining as we look to see who will be the first driver to head out onto the racetrack. So I can find out waiting patiently. It doesn't appear anyone is making a move right this second. I think Rabico is heading out on track right now, it seems, judging by the front jack man. And Dan is also heading out on track now, so he should be the first driver heading onto the circuit. So who's going to be on pole? Let us know in the live chat. It's Dan, who currently sits 7th in the World Championship on 48 points. Now, a good result here could move him up to 3rd, which would be very, very good for him. And also want to be helping his teammate as well, because Rabico is right up there, who could lead the championship by the end of tonight's racing. And so Dan is about to start his flying lap now in the Ferrari. Is that the safety car on circuit? I think it is. So we've had this glitch before, and Dan is going to have to... He's gone through the safety car there. I hope that hasn't hindered his flying lap. That is really, really bizarre there. And I just hope the safety car does not impede any of the other drivers. That may be a glitch at my end, but maybe not so for the drivers as such. So Dan making his way through Ferradura. So 6 of the 10 drivers out on track. And Colin is making his way out onto the circuit. And Dan is coming around the last braking zone through the remaining kinks. He tries to take the shortest route to the line as possible, and it's going to be a 1 minute 7.3, so he lays down the marker for all those to beat. Now Rabico should be targeted in 1 minute 6 here, but his lap time only good enough to put him P2 behind Dan, so definitely a lot of time to be found so far. Jaihu next for Haas, 1 minute 7.5, displaces Rabico by 0.003 of a second. So decent effort there from him. Bruges is next in the Alpine. And it's a 1 minute 7.2. Goes fastest with that lap. A brilliant lap time there from Bruges. That puts him to the top. Teddy next in the Aston Martin. He now goes top with a 1 minute 7.2 by 0.006 of a second. Big boy in the Haas. Can he move in front of his teammate? The answer is no. It's a 1 minute 7.5. And at least he's not going to be hindered by the safety complication, I don't think. Yeah, I just hope that safety car does not appear on circuit when it shouldn't be doing so. It's a qualifying session after all. So, and those have just stopped their flying laps. This is Colin. He's coming towards Decido de Largo. As he goes through the safety car there, makes his way back up the hill through Ferradura. And through Pinarino. And towards Pico de Pato. We should expect him to be around the mid-50 range by Sector 2. So 50.4. So this is a very, very good time that Colin is producing here. Is this going to be good enough to see him on pole? Once again, he was on pole at Imola last week. Is this going to be good enough to put him on provisional pole for the time being at least? It's a 1 minute 6.9. Goes fastest by a quarter of a second. Colin is very much the man to beat right now. And Rabico coming into Sector 2 is not improving at the moment. So 6th fastest he is currently. There's Jaihu, who was improving through Sector 1, not improving through Sector 2. I think the tyres have got away from him by this stage of the lap, so it's doubtful that he will be improving on this occasion. Dan Rabico heading back to the pit lane, and I imagine Jaihu will be doing the same as well. That's Alan on circuit in the Williams. His car is currently controlled by the AI as we speak. I think he may be taking control of that now, so Alan hoping to get a decent time on the board. Could he be a contender for pole position here in Brazil? Well, Colin's not on a fast lap at the moment. Well, Alan is now in control of his Williams. So he wants to be ideally in the mid-50 range to be challenging Colin for pole. He's not even anywhere near, he's a half a second down from him, so I would say he's looking at probably 5th fastest. And Lato heading out on circuit now in the Red Bull. And Alan goes 5th with 1 minute 7.4, so it's a good effort from him. So what next in the final 5 minutes? I'm just looking to see if the safety car is still on circuit. I hope that glitch isn't around. And that's Lato who's out on circuit in the Red Bull. I think his car is controlled by the AI as I speak. I hope I'm incorrect on that one. And apparently Lato is stuck in spectator mode. Well, he should be in control of the car itself, not be watching his own car doing the laps for him. Now, I wonder if an investigation may be inbound, or they may be back in play as we speak. As he comes through to start his flying lap now. Let's see what he does during the course of this one. And in sector 1 it's a 16.6, very, very quick indeed. So Lato doing a fine job at the moment as a reserve, and that's the safety car there. The glitch is still around, so I just hope that will go away for the race. As much time as possible. Apply tyres too much. Junkow, it's a 50.7 by sector 2. It's run about 3 tenths slower than what Colin had produced. But could this be good enough to move Lato onto the front row of the grid? Rear wing open. And over the line he comes. Lato goes 5th fastest with 1 minute 7.3. It's a decent effort. We'll look to see what Teddy's producing. He's not producing anything at the moment. Dan has just started his flying lap. Alan on course for an improvement here. Goes to the front row with a 1 minute 7.2. So Alan doing a cracking job there in the Williams to get himself up there into 2nd place. Now Rabico is out on circuit in the McLaren. Only 8th fastest at the moment and over half a second away from pole. Into sector 2 now. It's a 50.7. I think this lap time of his is only going to be good enough to move in, as it stands, only 1 position. So rear wing open on the McLaren as he heads over the line for 1 minute 7.2. Good enough for 5th fastest, but 5th fastest only. Mato won't have enough time, I don't think, to get into the pits and out, but we'll see. Dan will be looking to start another lap. Rabico not improving on this effort. Teddy is improving. So can Teddy get back onto the front row here? Rear wing is open on the Aston Martin. He heads back to the pits and it's doubtful he'll come back out again. And Alan just staying out of the way of the other drivers. I think that's Bruges just starting a flying lap, as is Jaihu. So, what are we expecting to see here then? Well, Jaihu probably should have waited to give himself a little bit more space, because now he's going to be stuck in the turbulent air of Bruges as they come through the first sector. May get a bit of a tow from him though. 700s up by sector 1. Bruges is down from before. So we've got less than a minute to go, or 1 minute to go, I should say. Jay Lato for a moment, but I don't think he's going to get round in time, unfortunately. So Jaiho looking to improve on 8th, trying to get a toe off Bruges. Bruges heads over the line, does not improve. Jaiho heads over the line, does not improve either. So both drivers stay where they are. Rabico is coming towards the second sector time beam, and he's nearly 800s up from before, so it could be good enough for him to move on to the front row, which would be crucial for his championship charge, especially with Joftus being crushed, starting from the back of the grid following his crush in Q1. And Rabico goes to the front row, 1 minute 7.1. It may have only been 900s faster than before, but it was enough to move him back up there. So Rabico second on the grid at the moment. Colin not improving, but it looks good enough still for him to be on pole. Jaiho improving through sector 2. Dan heading over the line now. The checker flag has fallen, and Dan does not improve his time. He stays in 6th place. Bruges and Jaiho are coming through. Jaiho improving by a 10th and a half by sector 2, but I think it's only going to be good enough for him to be 8th on the grid as we speak. Doesn't improve his lap time at all, so Jaiho stays 8th fastest. Lato has just started his last lap, so he could actually be improving on this timed effort. So Rabico is not going to be improving on the lap that he's on. We'll see how Lato gets on. Currently 7th on a 1 minute 7.3. He's into sector. He could maybe move on to the second row as it stands. Rabico retires in the pits. Lato gets the rear wing open. He's about to head over the line now. Lato goes up to the front row of the grid. So Lato, serving as a reserve tonight, will start on the front row of the grid. But it's Colin, once again, for Mercedes, on pole. And he'll be very, very happy with that. An excellent effort from him. Is it going to be another victory to his name? And pull away from the others when the lights go out. And Lato on the front row next to him, it's Rabico and Aylan. So we've got 2 of the reserves on the front 2 rows. There's Teddy in 5th, followed by Bruges. Dan and Jaiho are next behind in 7th and 8th. Big Boy will be disappointed with his effort, quite frankly. And Dark Inferno never came out of the pits in Q3 anyway. So just waiting for the classification to come up. I hope this is not a lobby glitch as we speak. We are waiting longer than we should be. We appear to be having some lobby glitches at the moment. So we should be waiting for the classification to appear on our screen, and we should be getting ready for the race. I don't know what it is from the driver's perspective at the moment. If someone can inform me on that, then that would be great. And from what I've been told, Lato is meant to be 10th on the grid and not 2nd, so I think it could well be a glitch on our screen. And now we're seeing cars going round on the circuit. This is not what we are meant to be seeing. We're meant to be seeing cars waiting in the garages for the formation lap. Right, so from what I've been told, probably best to come back into the lobby and join the stream from there. So that's what I'm going to do now. So hopefully we won't be having this issue when I rejoin the lobby. So if you are watching, we can only apologise for the technical difficulties. And the drivers are heading back onto the grid now, so we'll run down on your grid. So Colin on pole with Aylin alongside. It's Ravico third, had a dark Inferno. Then it's Teddy in fifth, had a Bruges. Then it's Dan and Jaihu on row 4, followed by Big Boy and Lato. Then it's Gary and Scotty on row 6, followed by Albie and Elite Hound. Noodles and Martin are next behind, with Cynix and Droftus starting in 17th and 18th positions. Harry and Jay Hartnell make up the grid. So the top 10 all started on the softs, as is Noodles in 15th. All of the others are on the mediums. Well, we are ready to go for the start of this Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We'll wait for those 5 red lights to appear, and when they go out, we'll be racing here at Interlagos. 20 drivers on the grid. The 5 drivers stare at 5 red lights. Who will lead the field into the CDR S first? Here we go then. Who will come away victorious in Brazil? It's lights out, and away we go. Colin gets off the grid fine. Halen looks to fend off the McLaren of Ravico, but he's diving to the inside of Colin, but Colin keeps his nose in front of the Williams. So Colin leads coming out of the CDR S. It's Aylin in second place, Ravico third. Teddy has got past Dark Inferno, round the outside coming through the curve of the Soul, and he's up into fourth place. Dark Inferno down to fifth. It's Dan, ahead of Jaihu and Bruges and Lato and Big Boy, your top 10 so far. Joseph up to 16th place, and there's Teddy running wide there. At to see the Largo, but he rejoins and keeps hold of his fourth position. There's Aylin looks to close in on Colin and make a move for the race lead. Ravico holding third place, and with that, I'm just looking at Jobs at the moment. He's gained another position up into 15th place. Big Boy and Noodles fighting over 10th place, and Noodles seems to got by him. So Noodles on the inside, and there's contact there with the Alfa Romeo of Alfie and Big Boy going off the circuit. So Albie looking to make up ground. Surely he must have picked up damage by hitting the back of the Haas, but he seems to have got away with that unscathed. So Aylin closing up behind Colin in the fight for the lead. Teddy into the 6th stream of Rabico, and Colin completes the first lap in front of the rest of the field. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps, of course. No one ducking into the pits at the end of lap 1, which is good. There's Dark Inferno looking to make amends. He had a nightmare of a time at Imola last week. He's hoping to make up for that here tonight. And Dan running in 6th place. And so one driver has had a dreadful start. It's Scotty who's down in 18th place. Droftus getting past the Alfa Romeo of Martin. He's gone up into 14th. There he is, look. And now he's approaching the Haas of Big Boy, who's next to dispose of. Droftus starting the race on the medium compound, so we expect him to be having a stint at the front. It'll be on the soft compound later on. So we go back to the front runners. Colin still continuing to lead. And Teddy appears to have got in front of Rabico. So Teddy in front of the McLaren, and Dark Inferno looks the Williams. So 2 Williams in the top 4 right now. So Rabico having a tough time with it all. DRS is enabled. So if you're within a second of the car ahead, you can get the DRS on the back straight. There are 2 DRS zones on this circuit, one here on the rest of Aposta, the other on the pit straight. As you can see, Dark Inferno getting past, and Elite Hound has crashed out at the centre S. His race has come to an end. I hope we don't get a safety car with him stranded there. I just hope we keep the race going, and it appears so we are going to get that. So Elite Hound out of the race after only 2 laps. So Alan running in P2. We want to make sure he keeps his car within track limits. We are expecting quite a number of track limit penalties dished out to the drivers in this race. There's going to be a lot of drivers pushing hard at this early stage, particularly with there being full tanks of fuel on board. And now Teddy closing up behind Dark Inferno, who's running in a good 3rd position. Can we see any of those fighting with the leaders? As we watch Alan go for the lead here on Colin with the DRS round the outside as they come towards the centre S, and the Williams has moved in front. So Alan in front of Colin. We've got a poor exit coming out of the centre S, so Colin is going to get the DRS back, get into the slipstream of the Williams. Is he going to pull alongside and make a move into to see the Largo? Thought about it, but stays behind. So Colin down to 2nd place. Dark Inferno holding 3rd ahead of Teddy and Rabico. And Joftus is still in 14th place as we speak. And there's Colin going after Alan for the lead. They'll be fighting it out throughout this one for sure. So we're on lap 4 of the race. These laps are going to go by very, very quickly, unless we get a safety car, of course. It's a very short track, is Interlagos, 4.3 kilometres long. And Dan has got past Rabico now for 5th place. So Rabico having a poor exit coming out of Young Cow, and that's going to allow the rest of the field to close in on him. That's Latte going side by side with the Haas of Jaihu. He can't make a move. And Latte thinking about a move. Jaihu gets in front. And Teddy fighting with the Williams of Dark Inferno. So Teddy on the inside as they approach Descida de Largo, and Teddy muscles his way past and into 3rd position. Now can Dan take advantage of an open door? Not quite so. So Dark Inferno stays in 4th place. Rabico in 6th position ahead of Jaihu. Joftus has gained another position in the Ferrari and he's into 13th position. So Colin running in P2, and I just wonder whether they're going to see a bit of rain later on. Answers on the postcard. So Colin going after Alan for the race lead. He's going to have the DRS. Now does he go for it into turn 1, or does he go for it on the Retro Aposta? Seen a few position changes. Needles into 10th. Colin, his teammate, looking to get his race lead back from the Williams ahead. And he's too far back to do it from there, I think. So Colin will wait behind once more. We'll go back to the battle for 3rd place as Inferno looks to get in front, and he does so before they get to the corner. And it looks like Cynix has retired on the exit of the centre S. So Cynix is the next to go. The VSC, the virtual safety car, has been deployed. So not a full safety car. Well, now we do, so I take my word back. So the first safety car has been deployed on circuit. Cynix out of the race yet again for AlphaTauri. He's not been on the best of form recently. Just looking at his record this season, that's his 3rd non-finish of the campaign, his 2nd in a row. He crashed out at Imola, and he's crashed out again here at Interlagos. Now, if you're one of those on the soft compound, you probably think now is the time for a pit stop. And if you're coming in now and going for the 1 stop, you're probably better going on to the hard compound. So let's see what the leaders decide to do. Well, Alan will be coming into the pits. Colin decides to stay out though, so Colin going for a longer first stint. Inferno coming into the pits, and Teddy hitting the back, unfortunately, of Dan, so he gets a 5-second time penalty, so which he can actually take at his pit stop. But he's going to drop down the order because of that. So Bruges has stayed out, as is Albi. Noodles, Joftus is up to 5th place then. Gary, Martin, Scotty and Weatherman Harry have also moved up positions. Aylin will rejoin in 10th, Inferno 11th. And it looks like Rabico is going to be moving up to 12th place now, down in 13th. Jaihu ahead of Lato. Big Boy Hartnell are ahead, whilst Teddy will have had a front wing replacement, I thought, and he's down at the back now, is the Aston Martin driver. And Teddy appears to have... Oh, that's the front wing gone, unfortunately. So it looks like Teddy's going to be back in the pits at the end of the start. Keep the car on circuit. Don't deliberately crash the car. Otherwise, it'll be a hefty punishment coming Teddy's way. I don't know how on earth he's managed to take his nose off, to be honest with you, as Teddy. So he should not be getting track limit penalties, to be honest with you. Now just slow down, just take it easy. There's no need to rush it. It's going too quick through the corners. So Teddy will be catching up to the field. And I wonder what compound he's going to go on. Well, considering he's already been on more than 2 compounds, he can go on whatever he wants. I would reckon he'll... Oh, don't crash, please. Don't crash there. Too quick there was Teddy. Just slow down, for goodness sake. He didn't need to go that fast through the second to last kink of the lap. So, new front wing going on. It's a set of the softs going on for Teddy, so I would imagine he'll be in the pits again before the race is over. Now, he's quite a long way behind, actually, so the safety car may decide to pop in at the end of this lap. But we'll see how quick Teddy will be in catching up. He's at the Retro Poster now. So Colin leads, ahead of Bruges in second place, Albie third, the highest of those are the medium runners. It's Niels fourth, ahead of Droftus in fifth. And so the safety car will stay out there, I think, for another lap. And this will play into Colin's hands, considering that the safety car will remain out there for now. And Teddy coming back into the pits for Aston Martin. I would reckon he'll just get a set of the mediums on. So this is his third stop in 3 laps. It's the hard compound going back on for him. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap, even if Teddy has not caught up to the back of the field. And Dan has picked up 5 seconds somewhere. So he'll probably have to take that as his next pit stop, or it'll be added to his time at the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see. So as the safety car makes its way round, and Colin will back up the field, and you can see the confirmation from race control. The safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. So Colin will back up the field, and he'll go when he's ready to do so. And here we go then. Colin leads on the restart ahead of Bruges. Is Albie going to make a move? Well, look at that. There's Noodles diving to the inside, into the centre S. Albie and Noodles going toe to toe. Noodles loses out there, and Droftus is going to be right on his tail, waiting to pounce. So Droftus is not stopped in this race. He's looking to make his way further up the order. Hartnell's gone for a spin at the centre S, but has continued. So we go back to the leaders as Gary holds 6th position. And Alan holding 10th ahead of his teammate. He's the highest of those who have pitted. Now you've got to obviously stop in this race. And not only that, but for a dry race, you have to run at least 2 different dry compounds. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart, so Colin will be looking to pull away. Now I'd imagine that Bruges will continue to give him the hard time. And so will Albie. Albie will crucially need to get in front here as Droftus gets into the slipstream of Noodles. Dives to the inside, side by side with him before they get into the centre S. And Droftus over the curbs through into 4th place. That was a very, very nice manoeuvre there from him. Harry passes Aylin for 9th. And the Williams are going side by side. Look at that, Inferno getting past the pair of them. So Inferno passing his teammate and Harry to move himself up into 9th place. There's Rabico also on the inside. Cannot make the move stick. Nearly are coming together there between Harry and Aylin. And Rabico cannot take advantage of it. So Rabico getting stuck horribly behind the traffic. And this is playing into Droftus' hands for later on in the race when he goes onto the soft compound. So Jaihu ahead of Lato, and Hartnell into the pits for what looks like for a new nose cone, and he's leaving himself with too much work to do between now and the end of the race. He's got to hope for a safety car, really. So Colin already more than a full second ahead, and the DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. We're now on lap 12, so we're at 1/3 race distance. Hopefully we won't get another safety car before the end of this race. It's good to keep the flow of the racing going. And Albie has the DRS open behind Bruges. And he'll be looking to get in front very, very shortly. I think if Colin's going to go long, he's going to go onto the mediums, isn't he? So Colin looking strong at the moment, but I do worry as to where he's going to rejoin. He'll probably rejoin behind Teddy, but he's going to be on better tyres. So Albie pushing for a move on Bruges. He should get the DRS on the pit straight. You can see how much later he's on the brakes than the Alpine is. We should have the DRS open now, should the Alfa Romeo pilot. Into the slipstream, goes to the outside, and he pulls off a nice manoeuvre before they get to turn 1. So Albie through into 2nd place. Can he pull away though from the Alpine by the time they get to the rest of Aposta? And the answer to that question is yes. So Albie through, no problem. And it looks like Teddy's gone for another spin. His race has gone from bad to worse now. Don't hit the barrier. He's damaged the front wing. So Teddy will be back in the pits again. Driving standards, eh? And Droftus behind in 4th position. And Jaihu has dropped down the order also in the Haas. He's rejoined the circuit without any issues. Has he had contact with someone, or has he lost it all by himself? He might have lost it all by himself, but he's rejoined anyway. He's in 16th place. So Bruges is going to be behind Albie with the DRS open. Not sure if he's going to be close enough though. Droftus is going to be in the slipstream. So he's going to have a little bit more of a speed advantage than Bruges. Pulls to the outside. And he goes through into 3rd place. So Droftus picking the cars off one by one, and he's doing to P3. Weatherman Harry in the pits, also Lato in. So both appear to have picked up damage somewhere, otherwise they'd have been extending their stints further. So Droftus now in 3rd place. Next man ahead of him is Albie. Colin's gap over the others is 1.7 seconds. Teddy into the pits for Aston Martin. I think this is going to be the end of the race for him. With the way that he's been performing tonight, it's been a horrible show for him. He's got a 5-second time penalty, so he'll take that his next pit stop, or he'll be added to his time at the end of the race. At least he stays on the lead lap for now. He's left himself with far too much work to do. And it's unlikely he's going to get a point out of this. We'll go back to the battle for second place because Albi's under threat now from Joftis. DRS open on the Ferrari. Is he going to pull off another move? To the inside this time, and Joftis is through into P2. Albi will try and fight back, but Joftis will have the high ground. That cambered corner has got good grip on the inside, and Joftis has made the most of it. So Joftis taking advantage of that, but will Albi fight back as they come towards the Cedar Largo? Albi stays in third place, so Joftis is through, no problem. So should gain on Colin ahead, as Colin's tyres will be well past their sell-by date, if I'm honest with you. Albi now with a time penalty, unfortunately, so 3 seconds has been added. Don't be surprised to see many of those being dished out to the drivers between now and the end of the race. Bruges in 4th position, ahead of Noodles, then it's Gary. Dark Inferno's in 7th place, he's the highest of those who have already pitted. You can see Joftis really closing in all the time on Colin. I don't think he's going to have the DRS on this occasion, but he may do so at the Retro Aposta. He's on better tyres than the Mercedes is. So Colin staying out there for another lap, bridging the stints. Noodles into the pits for his first pit stop. And Teddy's been given another penalty now for track limits. Nothing more needs to be said about his race. Martin's got in front of Scotty now for 7th position. So Noodles should rejoin ahead of the Aston Martin of Harry as Inferno gets past Gary for 5th place. Scotty back through on Martin. Harry with a new fastest lap. So put in some good times at the moment is the Aston Martin pilot, and Big Boy is the latest to be penalised for track limits. So Joftis is now just under a second behind Colin. We want to stay within a second so he can get the DRS on the pit straight. He'll be on better tyres now than the Mercedes will be, as Teddy posts the new fastest up of the race, so at least he's still showing some promising pace. He's got good track position anyhow. The next man ahead of him is Jay Hartnell, who's another 9 seconds ahead of him. So Colin's in then. So Colin in for his first pit stop at the end of lap 16, gets the car slowed down in time. Bruges does the same. They'll both be in for the mediums. So those are the only 2 drivers in this lap. We appear to be seeing a little bit of a topsy-turvy battle going on, as Scotty looks to be holding up the fight between Martin, Aylin, Rabico and Dan. And a drag race down to the Cedar Largo. We've got the Williams and the Alfa Romeo making a move, and Martin looks to make a move on Aylin for 5th place. Aylin on the better tyres, of course, but he's got through into 5th place. Nicely done there from the reserve driver. Now, can Scotty fight his way through on Martin? Not quite so. And Brabico, again, being stuck behind this lot. He really is not making the most of his strategy at this moment in time. So Joftis is in the lead right now, with Albi in 2nd place. Albi will get the DRS on the pit straight. Neither of these 2 have pitted yet. We're not expecting them to be in the pits for another 7 laps at least, I would say. Now, if they get another safety car, that will very much play into their hands. Inferno on better tyres than they are, in 3rd place ahead of Gary, who's given chase. Gary having another good performance tonight. In both of his races this season, he has finished in the top 6. Well, he's currently in 4th place at the moment. But he's still yet to stop, of course. Scotty passes Martin for 6th place as he goes to the inside into the Cedar Largo. He goes through nicely. Rabico's still stuck behind those guys. Dan in 9th, and then it's the 2 Hasses in 10th and 11th. Followed by Colin, who is running in P12 now, with a lot of work to do between now and the end of the race. And he's got Jai Hu in front, who should easily dispose of on newer tyres. So we'll go back to the front as Droftus is still under threat from Albie, because Albie's got the DRS, but Albie's not going to be anywhere near close enough to have a go. I suppose if he keeps up with him, he'll rejoin on a good set of soft compound tyres, but he has that penalty of 3 seconds hanging over him, so Albie needs to minimise the damage and just stay in touch with Droftus between now and when they come in for their mandatory pit stops. So Martin passes, or Scotty passes Martin for 6th place. Dan also getting in front of Rabico, so Rabico dropping a position to Droftus' Ferrari teammate Dan. So Dan able to send Rabico down a position. The big boys next behind him. Colin has got past Jaihu for 11th place. He's got 5 seconds to make up on Big Boy. So it's not going to be too long before Colin closes in on this, what looks to be a 5-car battle for 6th place. And Albie is out of DRS range of Droftus at the detection point, so he wasn't able to use the DRS on this occasion. But it doesn't seem to be hindering him too much. Martin goes in on Scotty once again. Keeps swapping positions like by luck, those guys. As Dan closes in the Ferrari. Now it's Martin going to have a go on Scotty as they come out of the Curva de Sol. Harry into the pits again for Aston Martin. Now, is he going to continue? He hasn't been on the soft compound for that long, only been on them for more than 5 laps. He's going on to a set of mediums, so Harry will rejoin, I think, in last place now. And Martin picks up a time penalty for his troubles, so Martin now has 3 seconds to his name. So Harry rejoins behind his teammate in 18th position. And Gary has got past Inferno, has gone for a spin. So Inferno from 3rd place has spun on the exit of Young Cow, and he's dropped back horribly as a result of it. Albie's into the pits for his only stop. And Rabico gets through on Inferno, so Inferno spins, he's out! That was needless. That was avoidable there from Inferno, and I think that's going to bring out the safety car. Yes, it is. That was avoidable, that from Dark Inferno. So that'll be the book thrown at him, unfortunately. So he's out of the race. And the safety car has been deployed, and that's going to play into the hands of the likes of Droftus, who's already gone past the safety car, so he could actually retain his lead by the time this race gets back underway. So this is not going to play into Collinson's hands anymore. Well, it's a terrible shame that the safety cars come out because of Dark Inferno's lack of awareness. Oh, and Albie has now been penalised for speeding under the safety car, dropping to 9th after his pit stop, and he just cannot stop speeding under the Delta, so he is now out of contention of probably any points as we speak. Teddy rejoins the circuit, came into the pits again for a new set of tyres. At least he's going to stay on the lead lap, though. Now, Colin actually is going to get back into the lead of this race as Droftus rejoins what will be in 2nd place now. So we have actually got a fight on our hands for the win. So Droftus is in 2nd place, Albie now 3rd, but he'll be in the pits to serve his drive-through penalty once the race does get back underway again. So Albie will be ruining that mistake. There's Bruges, who's in 4th place now. Noodles is in a good 5th. Gary 6th. Aylan 7th. Scotty 8th. Martin 9th. Big Boy 10th. And Rabico in 11th position. And as it stands, Joffers is going to be extending his lead at the top. Quite handsomely, actually. And he's on fresher tyres than Colin is. But will Colin be on better tyres by the time we get towards the checkered flag? We've still got 14 laps to go at the end of this one. So Colin leads, and he's looking good to move up into 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship as it stands. He would close in a little bit on Joftis. It's a 5-point difference between winning in the race and finishing in 2nd place. The driver with the fastest up at the moment is Teddy, who's running in 17th position as Jay Hartnell comes into the pits for another set of tyres. So will the safety car be going in at the end of this lap? My guess is that it will be. And Teddy and Jay Hartnell have pretty much caught up to the back of the pack now. So we should get back underway unless the safety car's decided to go around for another lap. But no, it's coming in at the end of this lap. So Colin will back the field up and will go when he's ready to do so. He needs to watch for Droftus. He can't afford to back the field up too much. Otherwise, Droftus is going to be right on his tail and Colin will be a sitting duck. Here we go then. 13 laps remaining here at Interlagos as Colin leads the field over the line with Droftus in 2nd place. Albie decided not to duck into the pits. We're looking further behind as Bruges looks to hold on to 4th place. Right on board within the rear wing view as we can see Noodles, Gary and the Williams of Aylan making their way through the Curve of the Sol without an issue. There's no DRS of course for the first 2 laps, but look at Noodles, he dives to the inside. Droftus looking to take the lead as well. We go back to the battle for 4th place as Noodles gets through, as does Gary. So as Bruges runs wide, needs to rejoin back onto the circuit. Don't rejoin back into the path of the other drivers, otherwise he'll be hit with a punishment. But thankfully, it does not take out any of the other drivers. And he's about to lose another position to Scotty. So Scotty taking advantage of Bruges' error. And is he going to move up into 7th place? Yes, he is. So he's through. We want to go back to the battle for the lead. As we can see Colin, Joftis and Albie fighting over those places. And Joftis will want to stay in touch with Colin. There's no DRS, remember, but Joftis is going to get a good exit coming out there as Lato has gone for a spin at Maguglio, but continue. In fact, Lato is retired. He's retired on circuit though, so that is against the rules. So Lato will be hit with a punishment. Hopefully that doesn't bring out the safety car. I don't think it will do. But Albie has completed a drag race with the Ferrari and the Mercedes to put himself into the race lead. But how long can he stay there though? Because remember, he's got to take his drive-through penalty. He's been over the line twice since the safety car's gone in. So he'll have to take his drive-through at the end of this lap. Otherwise, he will be disqualified. And Teddy into the pits once again for Aston Martin. What a terrible race it has been for him. So Albie will be falling down the order to 15th position. So a race victory gone begging for him. What could have been another good result for him tonight. Joftis will be feeling rather happy about that. Now he's pulling away from Colin, but Joftis, remember, needs to get those tyres to the end of the race. Albie comes in to take his drive-through penalty, so Joftis will take back the lead of the race with 11 minutes to go. Well, 11 laps to go, not 11 minutes to go. As Aylan posts a new fastest lap, the man currently in 4th place. Dan also in the pits. Now it looks like he's picked up damage somewhere. Ferrari have got a new front wing ready for him, so at least that's one less car for Albie to pass once he rejoins back onto the racetrack. He's now in 14th place. At least he's got no time penalties to his name, so he could come back into play and gain a few positions retrospectively from others. As Rabico gets past Big Boy, but only for 9th place, so Rabico has been struggling throughout today. Hasn't been on the pace really for pole, and he just hasn't had it at this track. I don't know if it's just because it's the circuit or he's got his setup wrong, but whatever it is, it just hasn't been his day this evening. It really has not been his time. And Scotty in 5th place, doing a fine job. It looks unlikely he'll be up that high this evening, but he's done a very, very good job, it has to be said. Colin now 2 seconds behind Droftus, as Gary will have the DRS behind the Mercedes. And could we see him in 2nd place? Droftus posts a new fastest lap. That's another championship point coming his way at the moment. 10 laps to go then. Gary behind Colin in the fight for 2nd place. Bruges gets past Noodles for 6th position. As the field make their way through the curve of the Sol. Gary will be too far back to have a go, I think, on Colin, and so he waits behind. Droftus continuing to pull away at the front and looking on course for his 4th victory of the campaign. And Hartnell running in 12th has got past Harry. And it won't be too long before Albie closes in. I think Albie actually did pick up a penalty earlier on for track limit, so 3 seconds it is for him, as Dan is in a fight of his own with Teddy for the final point in 15th. Now Droftus running in 1st place. He's got to hope there will not be another safety car. Here we go then, Gary in a much better position than he was so a lap ago. Colin just doesn't have the resistance to fend him off. So Gary through into 2nd place in the Alpine, on course for another brilliant result. And Aylin, the reserve driver this evening, not too far behind Colin. He won't have a go on this occasion because Colin has the DRS as well, and Aylin was too far back to challenge anyway. Jaiho gets past Rabico, so Rabico down to 10th in the McLaren. And Martin nudged off the track there by Noodles, it seems. They go side by side. Keep it clean, boys. There's still another 8 laps to do after this one. Martin left enough space there by Noodles, and he goes through into P7. And Rabico down to 13th place now. Hartnell and Harry have got through on him. And Teddy picking up another penalty as well. As Colin looks to fend off Aylin for 3rd place. I think Aylin's going to have too much of an advantage. Just looking at Colin's ERS, he's got about 50% worth, whereas Aylin has got slightly more than that, I think. No, he's around about 40%. So it's a matter of time before Aylin actually does get in front of Colin, but his only hope is that Colin doesn't use his DRS, or he's not able to use the DRS behind Gary. And Rabico into the pits for McLaren. It's just not been his day today at all. I do apologise for reiterating it, but it just emphasises how bad of a race it's been for Rabico, and he's going to fall further behind Droftus in the title race after tonight. So Colin in 3rd position. And Rabico will rejoin just in front of Teddy and Dan in 14th. So he's still on course for a couple of points, but that's as good as it will get for him, unless we do get another safety car. So Aylin still closing in behind Colin. He's looking to get back ahead of Gary. I think Colin may be on the better tyres at this stage now than the Alpine, so he'll want to take advantage of that and get back through of Gary. Came close to exceeding track limits there. I don't know how many warnings Colin has had in this race. We've just got to make sure he does not get a penalty, otherwise that could come back to haunt him by the checker flag. So Gary stays in 2nd place for now. Scotty in 5th, Bruges ahead of Martin. Jaihu in 8th place, Noodles ahead of Hartnell. Big Boy ahead of Harry. Both have penalties to their names. And looking at Jaihu, he's got 10 seconds worth of time penalties. So he could lose as many as 5 positions by the end of this race as it stands. So Jaihu is going to lose out horribly. So surely the next time when we do get a safety car, he'll want to take advantage of that and get some of his time penalty off the leaderboard for himself. Colin then behind Gary in the fight for 2nd place. He should get a good run on him this time around. Here we go then, round the outside. Is Colin through into 2nd place by turn 1? The answer is yes. So Colin back into P2. Can he go after Joftis for the race victory? Gary gets a time penalty now for track limits, so that'll make Colin's life easier. And Aylin will be looking to make a move on Gary as they come towards the Largo. Gary does not go for it on Colin. It would have been too risky to do that anyway. So Colin needs to take this opportunity during the course of this lap to pull away from the Alpine and the Williams. Very, very important that he does that. And looking at Joftis at the moment, his tyres will be beginning to fall away by this point now, I would have thought. So Colin, I think, is probably going to run out of time, to be honest with you. He's pulling away now from Gary. He's 8/10 clear of him. And by the time he comes out of Young Cow, he should be even further clear. So Aylin may just get a run on the Alpine coming out of Young Cow. But Gary is still going to have the DRS. Colin doesn't need to worry about the Alpine. He's not going to be fighting with him anymore now. So as it stands, Gary will be losing just the 1 position. He'll be off the podium. I think Aylin's going to get a good run on him now. Into the slipstream. Here we go, look. Aylin to the outside. Does Gary leave it a space? No, he doesn't! Contact made between Gary. That was far too aggressive. Did not leave Aylin off space. And that could have been curtains for the pair of them. That was naughty from Gary. He knew Aylin was alongside. He could have... He knows, because he tends to have red marker boards next to his car to see that the car was already alongside him. Yeah, the stewards will be looking at that. Gary knew that Aylin was alongside. He should have given him more space. Colin still not closing in on Joftis at the moment, so Joftis looking good for the race victory now. He's over 5 seconds clear of everyone else. So Aylin will be absolutely furious with Gary's driving standards there. That was appalling from Gary. Now, can Bruce get past Scotty here? And it looks like someone's gone for a spin. It's Big Boy in the Haas. He's gone for a spin at Young Cow. He continues on his way, though. He's in 13th place now. As Hartnell gets past Albie for 10th position. As Bruce gets past Scotty. Now does Martin get past the AlphaTauri as well. Big Boy into the pits. And it looks like Weatherman Harry's gone for a spin at the CDR S. Bruges and Scotty going side by side. Martin looking to take advantage. Can't quite do so. Scotty on the inside as they come towards Ferradura. On the curbs. He goes on the inside. Nicely done there from Scotty. Bruges tries to fight back. He still goes side by side through the left-hander of Pinarino. But Scotty is through and up into 5th position. Bruges down to 6th, Martin 7th. Jaihu, as it stands, will be falling down the order. I think as it stands now, he'll be only losing 3 positions. And so Rabico only on course for a 13th place finish. Now, is Bruges going to get back through on Scotty? We'll have a look as Bruges dives to the inside into turn 1. And Bruges is back ahead of the AlphaTauri again. Martin looking to capitalise on Scotty's unusual line. And so the DRS open is into the slipstream. Does he go for it? Well, Scotty's trying to fight back on Bruges into the CDR Largo. And Scotty still going side by side with Bruges. And he is through at the moment. Wheel to wheel at the moment. Bruges is back in front. And Teddy has crashed out, unfortunately. There'll be no safety car period now because there's still 2 laps to go at the end of this race. Teddy's race has ended in the barrier. Harry into the pits for a new front wing. He'll probably fall down a lap by the time the race is over. Although he may not do, actually. At least Harry's got the chance of going for the fastest lap. Now, Aylin will finish in front of Gary as it stands with the time penalty. Gary needs to watch his driving standards this time, though. And Scotty's got through on Bruges again for 5th. As the field come out of the curve of the Sol, Aylin not able to make a move on Gary. Dan with a time penalty, unfortunately. He's had a race to forget. So Bruges still chasing Scotty for 5th. Martin in 7th place ahead of Jaihu. Then it's Hartnell ahead of Noodles. Hartnell's had a fairly decent race, actually, despite starting from the back from 20th to 9th, which will become, at the moment, 7th once all the penalties have been applied. He just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Martin, and 7th place will be his. Well, Collins pulling away from Gary now. But Gary's still within DRS range, so Aylin not able to move in front of the Alpine, but he doesn't need to. So we're now on to the last lap. And Androftis is on course for victory. It's been a splendid drive from him. From 18th on the grid to get himself up to where he is a fantastic effort. I know he was helped by the safety car, but sometimes you need a little bit of luck on your side to go with it. And Colin may feel aggrieved with 2nd, but at least he still moves up to 3rd in the championship standings. Well, he will be moving up to 3rd in the championship standings anyway. So we'll go back to the leader of Droftus, 7 seconds clear ahead of the pack. And he's got one more braking zone to get through. That is Young Cow. And he's going to arrive up the hill. And you can see that the checker flag is going to be waiting for him. Droftus coming through the last kink. Harry sets the new fastest out, so Droftus won't get that. Droftus will take the 25 points. He wins the Sao Paulo Grand Prix in Brazil in Tier 1 in the CDR. Excellent job from him. Absolutely over the moon with himself. Colin crosses the line in 2nd place. Another podium to his credit. Aylin on the podium for Williams in 3rd place. He'll be relieved with that. And Gary, I would imagine, will be under investigation by the stewards for his poor driving standards when Aylin tried to get in front of him. But Gary is 4th as we speak. Scotty is 5th. Another decent effort from him. Bruges 6th. Martin P7. Hartnell only moving up 1 position with the penalties applied. Noodles is 9th. Albie in a disappointing 10th. He could have won today had it not been for his drive-through for exceeding the safety car delta. Jaihu will be 11th, followed by Rabico in a very disappointing 12th place. Dan 13th ahead of Big Boy, and Harry will be the last of the finishers. Droftus getting 25 points, Rabico only 4 to his name. So Droftus extends his lead at the top to 32 points, as we are now at the halfway point. So Droftus absolutely delighted with his race. Takes his points tally to 138. Rabico now only on 106. It is very much a 2-horse race for the title, but if the likes of Colin, Bruges, or even Calvin can step up, then we could have more in the championship race in the remaining races to come. So Droftus wins then ahead of Colin in 2nd place. It's Aylin in 3rd. Gary in 4th ahead of Scotty. Bruges 6th. Martin 7th ahead of Jay Hartnell. Noodles 9th. Albie in 10th place. Jaihu was 11th, followed by Rabico. Dan 13th. Big Boy 14th. Weatherman Harry, despite setting the fastest lap, is over the line in 15th place, but he does not keep the point for the fastest lap. Teddy classified in 16th place. He had a race to forget. Lasso retired, as did Dark Inferno. He's most certainly going to be under investigation by the stewards for his driving standards. Psynix also out, along with Elite Hound. As I've already mentioned, 32 points is the gap, or 34 points is the gap. No, it is 32 points is the gap between Joftis in the lead and Rabico in second place. The next round of the championship will be at Montreal at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Will Joftis make it a fifth victory of the campaign, extending his lead at the top, or will Rabico close back in? Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll do it all over again in a week's time. 8:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Friday. Just trying to remember my dates now. It's the 4th of February for Friday's race at Montreal. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.